Hi, I'm Mrs. S from mrsroom.com, and my products here are available on Teachers Pay Teachers. This is my order of operations unit. In this unit, we're learning to consider the order we do different math operations. Let's look at the following math sentence. Try solving this and pause the video for just a second. How did you group your numbers to add? Well, if you're like me, you might have grouped them by tens. So I added the 7 and the 3, the 5 and the 5, the 8 and the 2, and that's how I got to 45. You might have grouped them differently, and that's great. Did it matter how you grouped them? No. No, because no matter how you group them, you should have got to the answer 45. Let's try another one. So, pause the video once again. Think about how did you group your numbers to add, and then try grouping them in a different way and see if you get a different result. Pause now. So, no matter which way you grouped your numbers, you may have grouped them by making 5s, you may have grouped them by making 10s, but you should still get to the answer 41. So it doesn't matter how you group them, really. You can do them in any order you wish. You can add them in the order they are listed, and you will still always get the same answer. Let's look at this one. 17 minus 3 times 5 plus 4. Pause the video in just a second. Think about what was your final result. Compare with other people in your class, if you can, and think about why your results may or may not be different. Pause now. So, if you were like me, you may have done them in a specific order. And we're moving into what's called order of operations. Order of operations really just says that you have to complete math operations in a specific order in order to get the exact same answer every time. We always complete multiplication before addition and subtraction, and we always do addition and subtraction in the order they appear. So if you notice, I've highlighted these in pink because they are multiplication and division, and so I have to do them first. Over on the side, I've got an example question written out for you. So 3 times 5 is my multiplication sentence. Now, you may do this differently, but when I solve order of operations, I always underline what I'm going to solve first. So I underlined 3 times 5 because that's my multiplication sentence. So I have to do it first. And then I solved that in the next line. So 3 times 5 I know is 15. So I put the 15 there. Everything else that I didn't underline in this first line, you'll notice I rewrote it in the next line. So 17 minus and plus 4, I didn't underline them in this first line. So I'm going to rewrite them exactly as they are. For the next line, because it's addition and subtraction that's left, I don't have any more multiplication or division, I'm going to do them in the order that they appear. So I go from left to right just the same way as you would read a book. So I'm going to underline 17 minus 15 because it's the first part of this sentence. So I underline this, and then I rewrite everything except the 17 minus 15. So plus 4 stays there for the next line. 17 minus 15, you're probably doing this in your head, is 2. So I'm going to write the sentence 2 plus 4. Pause the video for just a second. What do I do next? Now, if you've been following along, you probably know that I'm going to ask you to underline this part of the sentence because it's what I have to do next. And yes, technically I don't really need it because there's only one addition sentence left, but it's clearer to the person who's reading your work when you're done. And if you're one of those people that don't really love explaining your work, this is a great way for you to show yourself explaining your work without actually having to write a long paragraph. So then I'm going to write my answer. Well, 2 plus 4 I know is 6. And so then I finish my sentence. There's no more questions left to do. And you can see from over here that I've got the exact same answer. So this is exactly the same way we just solve it. Let's move on to the next question. So we're always going to start by underlining what we're going to solve first. So whatever multiplication or division there is, that's what we're going to solve first. Pause the video and try to finish the question by following the steps on the left, by solving and rewriting the entire question with the solved answer on the next line. Solve what you underline and then rewrite the rest of it again, and then continue doing that just as we just did. Pause now. Well, if you're following along, let's go through the steps together. So I underline 10 times 6 because that's my multiplication sentence. That means I'm solving it first. So 10 times 6 I know is 60. So I'm going to slide this down just a wee bit. So 10 times 6 is 60. So I put that 60 in the same place that I had it before, in that same spot where that question was. Now I'm going to rewrite the rest of the entire question. So 70 minus, and then plus 11 goes at the end. Now I'm looking for what do I solve next? Well, I only have addition and subtraction left, so I know I'm going to solve the addition and subtraction in the order that they appear. So I'm going to solve 70 minus 60 and plus 11. If you didn't get this far with your question, follow along and rewrite your question so that you understand how to do it. So 70 minus 60 is what I'm going to solve next because that's what I'm underlining. $70 minus 60 is 10, and then I add the plus 11 at the end. I'm going to underline this because that's the last question I need to solve. And 10 plus 11, you should get 21. So that should be how you solve your order of operations questions.